Om Gananam Tva Ganapatigam Vamahe Kavim Kavinamupavastravastramam Jyeshtarajam Brahmanan Brahmanaspadhan Shrindhoti Visseda Sadhanam Om Maha Ganadipataye Namaha Om Keshwaya Namaha Om Narayana Namaha Om Madhvaya Namaha Om Govindaya Namaha Vishnuvaya Namaha Madhusudhanaya Namaha Trivikramaya Namaha Vamanaya Namaha Sridharaya Namaha Rushi Keshaya Namaha Padmanabhaya Namaha Damodaraya Namaha Sankarshnaya Namaha वासुदेवाय नमः प्रद्युम्नाय नमः निरुद्धाय नमः पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः दोक्षाय नमः नारसिंहाय नमः अच्युताय नमः जनार्दनाय नमः उपेन्द्राय नमः हरे नमः श्री कृष्णाय नमः हरि ओम. The next episode is Parikshit, the king, is going to be cursed. Once King Parikshit went out hunting. Hunting at that time was only to hunt the bad, cruel animals who is troubling the civilization, civilized animals, and the human being. While chasing an animal, he lost his way. He overcome with thirst, hunger, and fatigue. He wandered about. Finally, he saw an ashrama at a distance, and he hurried towards the ashrama, thinking he may get some water to drink. He went inside and shouted for someone. The king found the place empty, or so he thought. Walking around the place, he found a Rushi who was absorbed in meditation. The Rishi was absorbed in meditation. His closed eyes, and he is not aware of what is happening in front of him. He is so deeply in meditation. Walking around the place, he found a Rishi who is absorbed. His eyes were closed. He had brought his senses and his breath under control and was oblivious to the world around him. He is not aware of who is coming in front of him. His hair was matted and he was wearing the skin of a deer. The king spoke to him and asked him for water. He received no response. Again and again, he asked for water and he found that Rishi persisted in his silence. With his mind clouded by his physical anguish and his ego hurt by the seeming indifference of the Rishi, the king lost his temper. He looked around and found a dead snake lying on the ground. In a perverse frame of mind, Parikshit lifted the dead snake with the tip of his bow and placing it on the neck of the Rishi, he walked away from there. Still, Shamik Rishi, the great Rishi, did not wake up from his trance. Shamika had a young son by name Shringi. Shamika Rishi had a son called Shringi. Some of his playmates went to Shringi and said, "You think so highly of yourself, but you must swallow your pride hereafter, since you are, after all, the son of a man who carries a dead snake." Shringi glared at them, and laughingly they told him about the condition of his father, about the dead snake which was placed around the neck of the Rishi by the king of the country. Young Shringi became very angry. His anger was uncontrollable. He said, "This arrogant king has insulted my father. I will punish him. A week from today, the dread serpent Takshaka will sting him and he will die." That sort of curse um, Shringi, the son of the great Rushi, Shamika Rishi's son, the Shringi, with angerness, he cursed him. He then rushed to his father's presence and wailed aloud. His voice roused the Rishi from Samadhi. He opened his eyes and saw the dead snake on his shoulders. Pushing it aside casually, he said, "My son, why are you crying? Did anyone hurt you?" Shringi told him what had happened, and he also told him about his cursing the king. Shamika Rishi was very angry with his son for his hasty action of cursing the king. In his anger, he had cursed a good man. The father Shamika Rishi said to the son, "You are young and you do not know how to restrain yourself. You are too rash. Why did you curse that king, who is the best among men? Do you not know that he is the richest king? Because he was hungry and thirsty, and again, because I did not answer his questions, he threw the snake on my neck in the sheer disgust. It was childish gesture and should have been treated as such. This is not a reason enough for you to pronounce such a dreadful curse on him. This Purva king has been called Vishnuratha since the Lord himself protected him when he was in the mother's womb. Because of him, the world is protected from the threat of Kali. You have made the earth lose her very precious son because of your impulsiveness. I ask you to leave this place and perform the tapas until you learn self control. Now that you have cursed him, the good king will have to die. Let me at least warn him of his impending doom and give him a chance to prepare himself for the other world. The king, in the meantime, returned to his kingdom. He was feeling unhappy about his stupid action. He knew that he had committed an unpardonable sin. When he was in the frame of mind, there came to him a disciple of Shamika by name Gurumukh, who told him about the curse. This made Parikshit king a shocking reaction. He felt what he has done is not right, but still he didn't expect that he's going to get cursed like that. So, trained as he was in the path of Dharma and being a worthy descendant of richest minded Pandavas, the king Parikshit was not unhappy at the turn of events. He lost interest in the things of the world and welcomed the death, which was to him a fitting punishment for his unpardonable behavior towards Shamika Maharshi. King Parikshit crowned his son Janmeja as a king, and abandoning his princely garments, he made a journey to the banks of the river Ganga. There he spread holy kusha grass on the ground and sat down on it. He had decided on prayopavesha, fasting unto the death, with the mind filled with thoughts of the Lord Narayana. He began the preparation for the end, which to him seemed a new kind of adventure. Many great rishis came to his side when he was sitting on the banks of the Ganga. Atri Maharshi, Vasishtha Maharshi, Chavana Maharshi, Shraddhavan Rushi, Bhrigu Maharshi, Angirasa Maharshi, Parashara Maharshi, Vishwamitra Rushi, the son of Gadi, Parshurama, the son of Jamadagni, Vyasa accompanied by Narada, looking on his galaxy of great men, Parikshit was thrilled words. Beyond words. He was thrilled beyond words. He received them with a great excitement and joy. He spoke to them humbly after honoring them. He said, without a doubt, mine is great good fortune. What good actions have I performed in my previous birth that you should all have deigned to visit me altogether in the Ganga's place? Who was cursed? The Brahmin boy who has cursed me has in reality been my benefactor. Since he has made me reach out for the next world in the presence of great men like you, I have renounced the world and I am ready to meet my death, which is imminent. I have but one request. Please let my ears drink the praises of the Lord during these next 7 days, which must pass before I reach him. The Rushi said, descendant as you are of the Pandavas, princes who renounced the world when Krishna died, Krishna disappeared from the earth, it is not surprising that you should follow in their footsteps. This, your decision, is laudable. The king said, I have but one question to ask you. What is the course of action to be adopted by a man who is in the point of death so that he can be assured becoming sinless? The rishis pondered on the question. Some spoke of yoga, others of yoga. Some thought that tapas was the best course to adopt, while others said dana, giving away all that one possessed, is a good way. No one could say anything definite. All the paths seemed plausible, but the king was fighting against the time, and what could be done in 7 days when was indeed a posa. 7 days was so short as of dana. The king had already given away everything he had. Tapas was out of question since there was no much time. Yaga also had to be abandoned for the same reason as also yoga. While they were talking this among themselves, there came to the there came Shuka Maharshi, the youngest son of Vyasa Maharshi, glowing like a heap of gold. He appeared before them, clothed in his own glory. This was indeed a great event. The Rishi stood up as one man and honored Shuka Maharshi. Parikshit fell at his feet and with tears in his eyes said, I am fortunate, very fortunate. The Lord who protected me when I was in the mother's womb is still thinking of my good, or else how could it happen that the great Shukabrahma should grace the spot where a sinful man like me stands? When great souls like you all visit our sinful abodes, you sanctify them so much that even we become as pure and good as sadhus worthy of worship. When great souls like you visited me, you sanctify the place so much that even we became as pure and good as sadhus, worthy of worship. It is said that a house gets purified even by the thought of men like you. What then about a spot visited by you? You have come to me, your blessings are with me. What about a spot visited by you? You have come to me, your blessed feet have trod the same ground where a sinful Kshatriya like me also stands. You have graced the seat I have offered you by sitting on it. The great indeed is my good fortune. Why was the great indeed is my good fortune? Who has the great Shukabrahma of his side when I am so near my death? I will dare to ask you to advise me as to the right path to be pursued by a man whose death is very near. Please tell me, my lord, what I should do now to reach the feet of Narayana. Shuka blessed him. He was seated, and after him, all the many rishis. Shuka said, I have come to you for the sole purpose of telling you about the glory of Narayana, which is the only recital worth hearing for a man who is going to end his life soon. My revered father has composed the Bhagavata Purana, and I learnt it from him. I will tell you the story of the Lord Narayana and make these 7 days the most glorious days of your life. This story will help you, and not only you, but all men who will born hereafter. Consider the life of ordinary man in the earth. They are caught in the web of bondage, attachment or to their homes, their children, their belongings. They are ignorant of signs of self realization. There are so many things to be learned by man during his short stay in this world. Yet, what does he do? Half his life is lost in sleep. As for the other half, childhood and youth steal away the most of the life of the man. Man becomes involved in worldly pleasures and pain resulting from it, from attachment. Man never pauses to think of the truth that death is awaiting him. Every day he sees death around him, and yet he will never consider himself to be a mortal. He will never reckon the quick passage of time which carries him nearer and nearer the death every moment. And so, for one who desires mukti from the world of bondage, of birth and death, there is one easy path available, and that is thinking of Lord Narayana at the end of one's life. Even rishis who have realized the Brahman delight in singing the praise of Lord. There is no need to regret the number of years wasted in the thinking of things other than him. Even a muhurta is enough to try you. Even one muhurta is enough to tide you over if you are sincere enough. There was a king, Katwanga by name. He came to know that he had just one muhurta more to live. This was when he was in the heavens with the devas. Khatvanga at once renounced the heavens and rushed to the earth. He sat in the meditation for that one muhurta and reached the feet of Lord. You may, you may, you, my dear Parikshit, have 7 whole days to spend in this very pleasant task. Thinking of the Lord, I will help you to concentrate on Him. When the death draws near, man should cast off his fear of death. With the sword of renunciation, he should sever all ties which bind him to his wife, children, and other worldly objects. He should leave his house and, having bathed in the holy waters, he should sit down for meditation. I will describe the technique for meditation. Shukadeva, Shuka Brahma, he is a son of Ayurveda Vyasa Maharshi. He is telling the technique of meditation to Parikshit Maharaja. Steady the mind with the help of pranayama. Repeat the mystic word Auma, making Om. When the mind is controlled by you, it should then be made steadfast. The intellect should be the charioteer, which should hold the reins and steer the mind towards contemplation on the Lord. The mind should not be allowed to stray towards objects of the senses. The Ashtanga Yoga is the preliminary yoga for concentrating on the form of Lord. This yoga is made up of 8 qualities which should be a part of you. Ahimsa, not hurting anyone or anything. Satyam, truthfulness. Asteyam, not stealing what belongs to others. Brahmacharya, withdrawal of the senses. Asteyam, not stealing that belongs to others. Brahmacharya, withdrawal of the senses. Aparigraham, not receiving gift from anyone. Shaucham, inner and outer cleanliness. Tapas, penance. And Swadhyaya, study of the scriptures. Understanding all that you have learned. These 8 are the requisites for the next step. This is called dharma, which is to dhyana. With a steady mind, one should visualize the form of Lord Narayana. The mind should be pervaded by his form and by nothing else. Once this is achieved, tamasic nature will no longer delude the man, nor will rajasic nature try to ensnare him in worldly things. Once you have mastered the correct posture and correct breathing according to the rules of pranayama, once you have broken away from the bondage and the snare of the senses, then you will be in a position to dharana. Holding the form of Lord firmly in the mind, think on the Virata Purusha. This form comprises the past, the present, and the future. All the actions which have taken place in the past, which are happening at the present, which are going to happen later, are all compared by the Virata Purusha, are all comprised to form the Virata Purusha. This Virata Purusha is enveloped by the 7 avaranas. 7 avaranas, number 1 is Prithvi, the earth, Apu, the water, the Tejas is the fire, Vayu, the air, Akasha is the ether, Ahamatva and Mahatattva. Aham Tattva, Ahamatva and Mahatattva. This Virata Purusha has Patala as the soles of his feet. The Virata Purusha has the Patala as the soles of his feet, Rasatala as his feet, Mahatala as his heels, Sutala is his knees, Vitala Sthala as his thighs, Bhutala as his waist. So he is describing the Virata Purusha. This Virata Purusha is enveloped by the 7 avaranas. One is Prithvi, the first avarana, Apu, the water, Tejas, the fire, Vayu, the air, Akasha, the ether, Akash and ether, and Aham Tattva and Mahatattva. This Virata Purusha has the Patala as the sole of his feet, Rasatala as his feet, Mahatala as his heels, Sutala as his knees, and Vitala and Sthala as his thighs, Bhutala as his waist. So these are the 7 avaranas. Virata Purusha has got 7 avarana. The sky is his stomach. Sky is his stomach. Suvarloka, which is all light, is his chest. Maharloka is neck and Jnana, his face. Tapo, Tapoloka is his forehead. And Satyaloka comprises his many hands. The Devas, led by Indra, form his hands. Devas, led by Indra, form his hands. The 4 quarters are his ears. Ashwini Devas are his nostrils. The fire is his mouth, and the sun his eyes. Day and night are the eyelashes of the Virata Purusha. Water forms his palate, and the sense of taste forms his tongue. The Vedas are his head, and Yama his teeth. Maya is his smile. Creation, the glands from his eyes, the sea forms his stomach, and mountains are his bones. The sea forms his stomach, and the mountains form his bones. The rivers are the veins in his body, and the trees the hair covering him. The time is his stride. Air is breath, and the world, with its myriad qualities, his sport. The clouds are his looks and evening. Clouds are his looks and evening. His clothing. The avyakta, the unmanifested, is his heart, and the moon is his mind, while Rudra is his ego. Swayambhu Manu is his Swayambhu Manu is his intellect. Gandharvas, Charanas, and Apsaras are all the musical notes, and Swayambhu Manu is his intellect. Gandharvas and Charanas and Apsaras are the musical notes of the Smritis. These are the words from the Vedas which describe the Virata Purusha. Concentrate on this form of Lord. Shuka Brahma is asking Parikshit Raja to concentrate on the Lord in the form of Virata Purusha. Those who master this should then invoke the form of the Lord and see it in their heart. They see the form of Narayana lying on the immense snake called Ananta. When the mind is stilled and hushed by concentration, man can see this form in his mind. After this is achieved, the life leaves the body easily and reaches the Lord. Before this last stage, dharana, man should spend all his time in listening the stories of the Lord. Man's ears will be just holes in his head if he does not use them to drink in the praises of Narayana. Man's ears will be just holes in his sides of the head, side of the head. If he does not use them to drink the praise of Narayana, as far as for his tongue, if it does not sing the glories of Narayana, it is no different from the tongue of a frog which croaks during the beautiful rainy season. The head is but a burden if it does not bend at the feet of Narayana. The hands, beautiful with many jeweled bracelets and perfumed with sandal paste, will still be just the arms of a corpse. If they do not worship, if they do not worship, Parikshit Raja has been told by Shuka Brahma to concentrate on the Narayana in the form of Virata Purusha. When he does not take the dust of the feet of the holy man and wear it on his head, man is no way better than a corpse. If his body does not thrill when he hears the stories of the Lord, if his eyes do not grow dim with tears, then his heart is indeed made of stone. Unfortunate is the man who is made that way. Even such a man finds salvation if at the end of his life he thinks of Narayana and his stories. And so, Parikshit, I will relate to you the entire Bhagavata Purana during these 7 days, and you can rest assured that because of you or mankind, because of you, mankind will benefit in the days to come. Shuka Brahma Maharshi invoked the Lord Narayana in his mind. He then saluted Vyasa Maharshi, his father, as a guru, who was the author of the poem. He then began to recite the great Purana. So, this is the beginning of the Mahabharata Purana when Shuka Maharshi started telling the great Purana to Parikshit Raja. We will finish this for today and we will start the next chapter tomorrow.